some big rats right on me. I got some big rats right on me. I got some big rats right on me. I got some big rats right on me. I keep them big rats right on me. I got them big rats right on me. I said them big rats right on me. I got them big rats right on me. Big rats right on me. I keep them big rats right on me. Skin is right on me. Still got them big rats right on me. I 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 keep some big rats right on me. I keep some nets right on me. I got some big rats right on me. I got some big rats right on me. I keep them big rats right on me. I got them big rats right on me.
Well, it's only been 7 weeks since the Gasparilla Bowl, but the work, the preparation for the 2018 campaign already in motion. And February brings us National Signing Day. We welcome you to Ricardo Silva Stadium as it's National Signing Day once again. It feels like we were just doing this in St. Petersburg. AJ Ricketts, play-by-play voice of the Panthers, of course, joined alongside head coach Butch Davis. And coach, it's been an eventful 15 months since he took over the program, an 8-win season, one of the best recruiting classes in the history of this program. You've really got things rolling right now. It's another exciting day for FIU.
Well, thank you, AJ. Obviously, it has been a whirlwind. The last 15 months, it's 2 recruiting classes, 2 off seasons, one season, winning 8 games and getting a chance to go to a bowl game. It's been spectacular, and we're going to talk a lot about recruiting today. And one of the things I think that would be a little bit of an interesting insight to the fans and stuff, when you look at recruiting classes, I think you have to look at them mutually together, last year's class and this year's class, because what you accomplished last year, sometimes maybe you have to make up in the second year either by numbers or positions, and then next year's class, the 2019, will be coupled with the 2018. So I think you have to look at those classes together, but it'll be fun talking about the new Panthers.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that recruiting cycle. How much more advantageous was it to have that full cycle this year?
Oh, AJ, it was unbelievable. Last year we had 6 weeks basically, 3 weeks in December and 3 weeks in January to try to put that class together. This year we had a complete whole year that we got a chance to cover more territory, get into more high schools in the state of Florida, get into secondary areas outside the state, which resulted in the fact that of the kids that we signed, of the 22 players that we've signed, 7 of them were out of state. So I think that obviously that helped us enormously to be able to spend some time not only in the state of Florida but outside the state.
Yeah, you obviously have a priority on recruiting South Florida. That's been a strong suit for you throughout your career, but you went all throughout the state, as you mentioned. You had 2 from Northwest Florida, 2 from Southwest Florida, 2 from Central Florida, and you went up to the Space Coast as well. We look on Twitter, you guys have been in Texas recently. You guys want to go all over the place.
A
to
little
find
bit
some
of
Panthers.
every place, AJ, and obviously it is. I think, if we're going to go after the elite type of players that give us a chance to try to win not only the conference, but obviously to get into that 13-0 category and maybe have a chance to play in a January 1 bowl game, you got to go after elite athletes. And sometimes, whether they're in your own backyard or whether throughout the state, that's where we're going to start. But if we've got to go outside the state, that's what we're going to do, because we want to go after the best players.
Coach, you replaced pieces that you needed. Obviously, linebacker with the departure of Trayvon and Anthony, and a lot of defensive backs as well. But you also added depth, in particular at running back. And you've mentioned before throughout the course of this past regular season, look, you love playing with 2, 3, 4, even 5 running backs. If you have the depth, you love to play with them.
Well, obviously, AJ, I think when you look at a class, you look at it as a stance, who can immediately help you? Last year, we played 17 freshmen. Some of them played offense and defense. A lot of them played on special teams, but they made a huge contribution, and we still believe in that. I really, truly believe that this year's class will have somewhat close to the similar type of numbers that will contribute to the 2018 season. But one of the things, obviously, there are some kids, sometimes it's offensive linemen, sometimes maybe it's defensive linemen. It takes a while for them to kind of grow into the opportunity to make a major contribution to your football team. And so the skilled players, obviously those guys get a better chance. You referenced the fact of signing 2 running backs, and sometimes when you look at your roster, it's like, okay, who are we going to lose after the 2018 season? When these guys are going to graduate, they're going to have a chance to go to the National Football League. We better grow our own replacements and have them within the program. So a lot of that goes into who you decide that you're going to sign.
We mentioned the advantage of the full recruiting cycle this time around. What do you feel the difference is right now with the program from where you were at this time last February with where you're at in your program and what you're doing on a daily basis?
Yeah, you know, AJ, I think one of the things is that now you're not selling completely the dream, okay? Last year you're talking to recruits about like, this is the vision that we have for the program. We want to be in bowl games every single year. We want to put ourselves in a position to compete for the conference championship. Now, after one season, you can say it started, that we did make it to a bowl game. We did win 8 games. You know, we put ourselves in a position the last couple of weeks of the season to put ourselves in a position to compete for a Conference USA championship and to play in that championship game. So now it's not just a matter of like, these are things that we think are going to happen, they're actually happening.
Yeah, you mentioned, you love to say, and I think this was such a great angle throughout the season, writing your own story throughout the course of a season. When you're in a living room, when you're talking with the recruit, how much more fun is it for you to talk about the stories you've written this past year than you know, the way you were recruiting last year?
It was awesome, AJ.
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting down with the parents and sometimes aunts and uncles and head high school coaches and the kids, and you can actually literally talk about, instead of things that you accomplished at other places, you can say, let me just tell you something. This is what's going on at FIU. Unbelievable upgrade in the facilities, which they can visually see. They don't have to say, show them blueprints and talk about this is what's going to happen. Here are the 2 new practice fields. Here's the new jumbotron. Here's the new strength and conditioning. Here's the new dining hall. These are the things that we've done with the program. So you can talk about that, and then you get to talk about the fun part, the games. You know, this is what these kids were able. We actually, I think we won 5 games, AJ, this past year where we were the underdogs, and a couple of times we were double-digit underdogs. I know that I think we were a 17-point underdog to Tulane and won the game, and I think we were right on the borderline of being an underdog to Western Kentucky that had been one of the better teams in the league and win
champions. Yep.
Yeah, and won 47-17 and blew them out. And so now they can actually see what the offense, defense, special teams look like. They can see what the coaches, how we coach, and the way in which we groom these players. So it's a whole lot easier this year than last year.
Yeah, the team really embraced that underdog role, maybe like the Philadelphia Eagles did.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
We're going to talk with a lot of the assistant coaches throughout this signing day show about their thoughts and impressions, and we're going to go in the film room with Coach in just a little bit as well. But stepping back real quick, big picture, as we take a look at the upcoming season, it's never too soon to start talking about the 2018 campaign. Schedule released 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
A lot of fans excited about this schedule. 6 of the first 7 in the city of Miami. A great start for a lot of Panther fans to see their team at home. You've got the Indiana game. We'll be able to play this year, barring any storms, okay? Any stormy weather. We'll be able to play them this year at Miami. Game 4, obviously a big storyline. What are your thoughts and impressions of the schedule?
I mean, I think, you know, one of the things, obviously, you want to test your team. I can share with the fans and with you that I think one of the things that helped us win championships at the places that I was at, Jimmy Johnson was a firm believer, you got to play high-profile teams. Going to the Dallas Cowboys to win in those Super Bowls, we had the New York Giants and the Washington Redskins who had won Super Bowls. So the benchmark was right in your own conference and right in your own division. Same thing at being at North Carolina and the University of Miami is reaching out and playing high-profile teams, playing Ohio State, playing Notre Dame, playing teams that aren't in your conference that test your program to find out where are you as you're continuing to build that program. And this year, opening with a Big Ten opponent the first week of the season, Indiana has had a lot of success. They've gone to bowl games. They're a good football team. We didn't get a chance to play them last year. So this will be a good way for us during the off season to point to that first original opening game. And then obviously with Miami on the program, that'll be on the schedule. I mean, that'll be something that obviously people will be super excited about. So that'll be another huge motivation for the program.
And Coach, we chatted a little bit while it was happening, but as you have time to reflect now on the early signing day period, what was that like? I mean, that was such a busy time for you. You had the bowl game, the signing day, the stress that comes with that, but also the opportunities that came with it. What was it like as you look back 7 weeks later?
I mean, when you take a look at it, AJ, I mean, I think in retrospect, it was spectacular. And one of the things when the American Football Coaches Association met in Charlotte, it was almost a unanimous success. There were only 3 people in the room that said that they did not like the early sign day. All the rest of them loved it. Every head coach raised and voted and said, hey, let's keep it, during December. For us, when you're in a bowl game, you got to juggle the balls a little bit, and so after having done it, we're going to go back and look at, okay, did we spend too much time on the recruiting? We should have spent a little bit more time maybe in the game preparation. Was the balance good? Did we spend enough time with our team? So we'll do some benchmarking, some evaluation of that. But for the entire program, it was absolutely a huge success. Yeah,
it was a great time. You had the signing day, the bowl game after that. It was a great time this past December. Well, Coach, congratulations on the recruiting class. analyzed by many folks as the top in Conference
Sure.
USA, 60th even in the NCAA. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of those recruits and Coach Davis's impressions on who will be playing right here, Ricardo Silva Stadium, this upcoming year. We'll be right back.
In the classroom, we are committed. In the community, we are uplifting. In athletics, we are strong. And on our campuses, we are accepting. Dynamic, diverse, determined. This is who we want to be, on and off the field. In our everyday lives, we are all day CUSA. And together, we are Conference USA.
All right, we're joined now by the defensive coordinator of the Panthers, Brent Guy, and Coach, you lose a large percentage of the guys who made the tackles last year. Trayvon Williams, Anthony Went, Nico Gonzalez. So that was certainly a focal point of what you were looking for, guys who can make plays defensively.
Yeah, we had, we added 3 linebackers to the class. We went and found some junior college defensive linemen that can help us inside, and of course always signing the secondary guys. But we felt like, athletically we have improved the speed of our defense, which we felt like at times we needed to. We also, needed to be more physical in some of the games up front. So we think the maturity of having the junior college players will help us. But we certainly have a lot of work to do this spring because of losing the veterans that we lost, guys that had played and started in so many games. We just don't have that experience right now. I think we have the same type of talent that has to be developed. We changed week to week. We kind of morphed into whatever we needed to do to give ourselves a chance to win the game. And they were able to do that. We'd put Nico down in the box a lot of times to help us. In the Tulane game, we played almost man the entire game because we knew we were going to stop the option. We needed to get an extra guy in there. And so we put the corners on an island that game, did not give them any help. And so things like that, I think the kids bought into and were able to execute the game plan so we could win those games. They were critical games right down the, in the middle.
Absolutely.
And through the stretch that we had to play well in.
We're counting down to September already. Congratulations on another signing day.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk with Kenny Holmes next. We'll be right back.
For 50 years, FIU has been serving a community that's seeking something different from its university. From the sawgrass of the Everglades to the boardrooms of downtown, Miami is a modern, global city built with an entrepreneurial spirit that's always looking forward. A city that moves at this speed requires a public research university to support it. And that's what we've been building at FIU since 1965. A locally engaged, globally connected university.
All right, we're joined with Kenny Holmes now, who anchors the defensive line for FIU, and one that improved throughout the course of the season. And throughout that second half, the final third of the regular season, you really saw the progression, even from guys who were maybe technically undersized, like Furman Silva. They worked technique, they got to the quarterback, and they really made an impact throughout the final third of the season.
That's one of the big things that me have played the position, and not being a heavier guy, you have to play with great technique. And the techniques that we taught, he embraced them, and not just only him, but the entire defensive line. And I think toward the end of the year, we're playing our best ball.
How much does that say, what Furman did, you talk about technique and being undersized, impact younger guys who maybe still need a year or two to get to the size and the physicality they want to be, but they know, hey, we got a guy at the end who made an impact, who he's an upperclassman and feels undersized, and he still got to the quarterback.
Right. I think seeing how we do things at FIU now as a defensive front allows the younger guys that come in to live up to that standard of working our technique, being able to take on doubles. When you got 700 pounds on the other side trying to knock you off the ball, you have to use a lot of technique to be able to stay in there and play that block. And I think the younger guys, the freshmen from last year, really embraced that also, and see how we do it at FIU.
I'll tell you what, I've seen Furman in the weight room, really the whole D-line in the weight room. None of them really look that undersized to me anymore at this point of the year, Coach. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
I love helping people. I love the sport. I like mentoring the little kids. I go back to my high school and help out. Having the drive to get to the next level. Hold yourself accountable to be a better runner, to be a better teammate, to be a better student. My name is Alec Dominguez. Thanks to FIU and Conference USA, I am and will always be all day CUSA.
All right, we're with Eric Thatcher, who coaches the defensive backs. And Coach, what a season it was for your guys. And Brad Muhammad and Bryce Kennedy, so many guys stepping up, terrific careers, but you have to replace a lot of veteran leadership as you approach next season.
Yeah, we definitely do. You know, Nico Gonzalez, Bryce, Brad Muhammad, Spence, you know, a lot of older guys that had played some football for us prior to us getting here. But, you know, with Jetson Walker and Jamal Anderson, two corners on the outside for me, very excited to bring a little bit more size to our room and continue to build on that.
What did you see out of these guys on film when you were recruiting them? What can they add early on? Always tough, that adjustment, you know, from senior year to college football, no matter what level it is. But what do you see in their ability and their potential to contribute?
I think with, you know, the skill sets that they have, I think they can add a little competition to our room, keep everybody making sure we work hard each day and compete out on the football field in order to get us better and help this team out.
So many big moments throughout the season. Brad Muhammad's pick 6 at Marshall, just one of many moments that Panther fans hoping to see next season again. Coach, appreciate the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
In the classroom, we are committed. In the community, we are uplifting. In athletics, we are strong. And on our campuses, we are accepting. Dynamic, diverse, determined, this is who we want to be, on and off the field. In our everyday lives, we are all day CUSA. And together, we are Conference USA.
All right, this is Coach Jeff Kopp chatting more about the defense here on National Signing Day. And Coach, it was a unit that progressed more and more throughout the course of the season. So many big moments in big games. You talk about goal line stands and slowing down high-tempo teams. What were you guys focusing on throughout this offseason as you look to replace a lot of guys who made an impact?
You know, it's just this offseason is going to be big on developing young guys, understanding our scheme in our second year, and just finding out who are going to be the playmakers for next football season.
When you see players make that transition from high school football, and granted in South Florida, all throughout the state of Florida, it's high level high school football, but when they make that transition to their freshman year, what's the biggest thing these guys have to focus on? What's the biggest transition for them as you look at their development?
You know, catching up with the speed of the game.
Yeah.
You know, everybody that we have on our team was the best high school player at their school, so just guys learning that they got to compete every day, understanding the difference in schemes. We obviously have a lot more at the college level, and just the speed of the game, catching up with that.
Yeah, you add a lot of speed, you add a lot of physicality.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're excited to see
a lot bigger bodies.
We're looking forward to it. Coach, appreciate the time.
Great, thank you.
We'll be right back.
For 50 years, FIU has been serving a community that's seeking something different from its university. From the sawgrass of the Everglades to the boardrooms of downtown, Miami is a modern, global city built with an entrepreneurial spirit that's always looking forward. A city that moves at this speed requires a public research university to support it. And that's what we've been building at FIU since 1965. A locally engaged, globally connected university.
All right, we've got offensive coordinator Rich Skrosky. And Coach, one of the fascinating aspects of your offense last year, I think, was the impacts and the contributions from younger guys, from freshmen, especially in that second half of the season. I think it sets an example for the guys coming in of making an impact right away. They have that potential.
Well, you're going to play the best players, and you know, we said that in the recruiting class last year, and obviously with today being the second signing day, you know, we're saying the same thing. And I think the good part about it was, you know, older kids, you could take that one or two ways. You could take it as a little bit of a slight, or you could take it as you embrace those kids. So I give the older kids credit too, in that they didn't take it as that slight. They took it as, hey, coaches are doing everything they can to bring the best talent into this program. We're going to embrace those guys. We're going to coach those guys. And
yeah, Bryce's 3 touchdown game. Shamar Thornton had a couple of big touchdowns. Devontae Price was incorporated throughout the offense. What do these guys start doing that you're trying to emphasize to the incoming freshmen now? Hey, this is the routine. This is how you got to work. You know, what was that process like?
Well, I think being here a year now, the guys in the program, they understand the expectation. They understand what it is. You know, we had a early workout this morning with the guys, and it's amazing thinking a year ago, some of the stuff you were saying was kind of Japanese. You know, it was like, what is this guy talking about?
whether it was Western Kentucky or UMass, it didn't look like it was Japanese to them during
yeah,
that game.
we kept getting better. We kept getting better.
Certainly, Coach. Congratulations on a good class.
Okay.
We'll be right
Thank
back.
you, guys.
I love helping people. I love the sport. I like mentoring like the little kids. Like I go back to my high school and help out. Having the drive to get to the next level. Hold yourself accountable to be a better runner, to be a better teammate, to be a better student. My name is Alec Dominguez. Thanks to FIU and Conference USA, I am and will always be all day CUSA.
All right, we got Alan Mogridge here talking about the line and a number of special prospects in this class, but I know you're really excited, in particular Deontay Demry. He has the potential to do some special things here.
Yeah, big Deontay. He's on campus right now. Obviously size, athleticism, explosion, and he's got that thing that you don't necessarily see all the time, which is just the attitude. I mean, he's got an attitude of how can I get better, what can I do to improve, and he's got some grit about him. So we're really excited about him coming into the line, and obviously a big dude that has a nasty streak and wants to throw people around. We're always going to want those guys to come on in. You know, I mean, we welcome arms, open arms, and say, come on in, big fella, when it comes to a guy like that. But excited about him, excited about the kids we're bringing into the class, but having the ability to get him on campus right now and get in the mix and start working and get with the kids, because we return a lot of kids that played, you know, everybody that played football comes back from last year's line, so it's good. They've welcomed him in, and they're kind of teaching him the culture that they've decided to establish here, which is what we want, and he's falling right in line with those guys, and they're getting after it.
You're gonna have some veterans to show him the way. Let me ask you this final thing here. You know, what did you notice about him on tape? What did you notice when you were in the living room recruiting, and then when he got to campus? What stood out?
The tape's really easy because he's a big old sucker that can run, and he's got a mean streak. He plays physical. He likes to mix it up. I mean, you know, the easiest thing we do is turn on tape. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then it's kind of learn the kid, figure the kid out, and he's got a very business-like attitude, a very work ethic type of attitude. He's a guy that just wants to. You know, he wants to know he sets a goal for himself, and he wants to go get it done. He wants to know, you know what I mean? And that was probably one of the things once we went in the house was just the way he carries himself and conducts himself. He's you know, he's a kid that it's fun to be around. He's got a great attitude, and he wants to get better each and every day.
Building the culture every day.
Building the culture, and that's what, you know, these guys with the Budwigs and the Magoos and the Connells, you know, those guys coming back, you know, and then, you know, Wilkie and Kai and Devontae Taylor and Shaq Williams, all these guys, and you know, and it's their grind, and it's bringing a guy in with open arms and saying, hey, come make this room better. And you know what, I think that's one of the things, you know, he's a big athletic kid that can run, and he's got a very, very business-like demeanor with the way he wants to conduct his business now. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, coach, my feet are on the ground, I'm a Panther, let's ride.
Great characteristics to see out of someone coming into your program.
Without a doubt, without a doubt.
Appreciate the time, Coach.
No worries. Y'all have a great day.
In the classroom, we are committed. In the community, we are uplifting. In athletics, we are strong. And on our campuses, we are accepting. Dynamic, diverse, determined. This is who we want to be, on and off the field. In our everyday lives, we are all day CUSA. And together, we are Conference USA.
All right, we're taking a look at a couple of guys, some who are already on campus at this moment and some who you're going to see this fall at Ricardo Silva Stadium. Film study, always a lot of fun. Let's take a look at some of these recruits that are going to be making their way to Miami soon. Let's start on the offensive side. Yeah, Deontay Demry and Sterling Palmer, tackle, a tight end, each with a lot of special characteristics they're bringing to the program.
Well, AJ, now this is the fun part about it, is you actually get to see guys play football. It's not the measurables and those kinds of things. And you referenced Deontay Demry and Sterling Palmer. And one of the things that makes these two guys obviously a little bit unique is that they're both actually enrolled, they're in classes, they're working out with the team currently this second semester. Deontay is a fabulous offensive tackle. This is a young man that was recruited by Alabama, Georgia, a lot of the SEC schools. He's from Brunswick, Georgia, and we were fortunate enough to be able to recruit him and get him in, and he's got a great chance to come in and really enhance our offensive line. He's athletic, he's big, he's 6'6", he's probably 310 pounds, he's got good feet, he's really long. When you're talking about offensive linemen, you're looking at guys, their mobility. You'll see on film his ability to pull, get up in the hole, he can chase down linebackers, and he can obviously do a great job on pass protection. Sterling Palmer, one of the things that's kind of unique, his father played at Florida State, played several years in the National Football League. Yeah. This is another young man that we're very, very excited about. Obviously, with Pharaoh McKeever, who was a fifth-year player for us last year from North Carolina State, with him graduating, there's a little bit of a void. So we've got some young players on the team, and obviously Sterling being one of them that gets a chance. Him being here, he'll get the first opportunity to learn the offense, be a part of it this spring, see how much he can grow. He's 6'6", he's probably 235 pounds. We're hopeful that by the start of the season next year in August, we hope that he'd be in the mid-240s, 245, 248. Yeah. He can run, he's athletic, he's got big hands, and you know, a big part of the offenses that I've always believed in are offenses that have tight ends and H-backs that you can really create some mismatches. So we're very excited about both of those two players.
Coach, we're certainly losing a little bit of leadership at linebacker, but let me tell you, we're adding some big-time talent in that position as well. You got three guys here. We're talking about Donovan, Josh, Rocky. They're all going to bring something special here.
You know, AJ, I mean, the three players that we lost, obviously, the most notable, obviously, is Anthony Went and Trayvon Williams, and those guys have been starters, it seems like, since the start of this football program. I mean, the numbers are unbelievable. They were great players, great leaders. So that's going to be somewhat of a big void. The one that people don't talk a lot about is Fred Russ, and Fred was our special teams captain. He was the backup at two of those positions. He started some games and played. So that's three big-time players that you've got to lose. You know, so it made a really high-profile, a very high priority to go out and to recruit some kids. The first one is Donovan George. He's a middle linebacker. He's got all the athletic ability and the innate things that you're looking for as a linebacker. He's 6'1", he's probably 235, 240 pounds, and he is a thumper. He can run sideline to sideline. He's big enough and strong enough. He's got the athletic ability to cover the inside with tight ends and running backs. So we feel very, very good about, you know, his possibility to come in and make a really good contribution early in his career. Rocky Lewis is one of the most unique guys because this is a guy, he played defensive end, he played outside linebacker, and this is a guy, AJ, that can absolutely fly off the edges. I don't care who it is that these stats were accomplished against, but in his high school career, he had 66 sacks. And so even if some of those guys never play another down of football, you still got to make plays. And that's one of the things that we loved about him is his athletic ability. He's 6'2". Right now he's probably 215 pounds. We think he'll be 225 by the start of the season. But he's got athletic ability. He ran track, so he's got speed. There's a lot of things that we're very, you know, that we really like about him. And then the last one is Joshua Sanders, and Joshua's coming to us from Texas. He's another big kid. This is a kid that's 6'3 and a half, maybe 6'4. Right now, he currently weighs 230 pounds. He's hoping to show up this summer at maybe in 240, 245. And one of the things that absolutely, I mean, I'm kind of a freak about this kind of things. I love kids that are multi-sport athletes. We signed 22 players in this class, AJ. 18 of them participated in other sports. Besides playing football, they either played basketball, which Joshua does, and currently his high school basketball team is 27-6. And a lot of these kids played baseball, they ran track, they wrestled. So I love multi-sport. Joshua is one of those kinds of kids. He's and when you turn on his film, one of the other things, the very first time that I got a chance to watch him in a game, the coaches said, "Coach, you got to see this guy. This guy's really, really talented." He played 7 positions in one game. And I mean, he played wide receiver, tight end. He played, you know, kind of a quarterback where they were running some wildcat plays. He played linebacker, defensive end. He just did it.
So you're gonna have him play 7 too, right?
Well, I don't know if we'll have him play 7, but here's one of the things about kids like that is that, you know, it's like when I was at Miami and you recruited somebody like Sean Taylor. Sean Taylor in the state championship game scored 5 touchdowns as a running back. He started at safety, could have been an outside linebacker, could have been a corner, he could have been a running back. And so from a football perspective as a head coach, I love kids that have multiple opportunities. Wide receivers that can play corner and safety, which a lot of the kids this year that we signed, a lot of those kids fall into those categories.
I like that word you used for Donovan, thumper. Sounds like someone's going to make an impact pretty soon. Physicality, and of course, these two upcoming guys, Twitter exploded when they committed to FIU. Taylon Humphrey, Tier Tart, 2 guys out of Hutchinson and Ellsworth Community College, respectively. These guys, big name programs going after them. What was your pitch to them? And I know you're excited to have them here.
Well, I mean, obviously one of the pitches is that, you know, kids that are at that stage, they want to make an immediate impact. They're not looking to come in, groom, play a little bit, and then maybe play some the next couple of years. These are 2 young men that can come in, and I've had a lot of success in recruiting junior college defensive linemen that are impactful. And that's what these 2 guys are. Obviously, they had a chance to come in and join the defensive line guys that we have returning, A.J. Johnson and Josh Little. We've got some kids that played last year, Noah Curtis and Kevin Oliver, but we needed big, strong, powerful guys that could control the middle of the line of scrimmage. Obviously, Taylor is 6'5", he's 300, and we hope when he plays he's going to be in the 345, 350, because he's not going to be a 310 kid. I mean, this is a kid that is massive. Tier, one of the things about him, he is electrically fast and quick, even at 6'3.5", 295 pounds. We think that those are 2 guys that really will make a huge, big impact on our defensive line.
Well, you just got an opportunity to see these guys on film. You'll see them here at Ricardo Silva this fall. A number of them already on campus and getting to work bright and early. What, 5:30, 6 a.m.? 5:45
this morning. We were out there with mat drills, and the kids, it was awesome. Our strength and conditioning program, our guys do a great job, and the kids, you know, the amount of effort that they're putting into it, obviously they're off to a great start for the 2018 season.
They're excited for that alarm clock in this matchup. They're ready to go and improve upon that 8-win season last year. Coach, congratulations on the class.
Thank you.
We'll talk to the assistants coming up right after this.
For 50 years, FIU has been serving a community that's seeking something different from its university. From the sawgrass of the Everglades to the boardrooms of downtown, Miami is a modern, global city built with an entrepreneurial spirit that's always looking forward. A city that moves at this speed requires a public research university to support it. And that's what we've been building at FIU since 1965. A locally engaged, globally connected university.
All right, now with running backs coach Tim Harris Jr., and what a season it was last year for the trio of FIU running backs, Alex Gardner, Shondarius Phillips, and Napoleon Maxwell, each contributing in their own role throughout the year. And now, Coach, you had 2 guys, Sean Peterson, DeMarcus Townsend. They have a lot of ability coming into the program.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the both of them. They both complement each other very well, and they were 2 very exciting cases to recruit, and I look forward to coaching both those guys.
And even throughout the course of last year, we mentioned 3 running backs, but then you had a freshman come in. Devontae Price contributed at times. It seems you certainly have depth at the position right now, and guys are going to challenge each other, and that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, that's definitely what we want. Our guys do a really good job of pushing each other, compete with one another every day, and the guys that we want to go out and recruit at this position, we want guys to come in and fall into that same realm. Guys that want to be the guy, but understand that it takes a group at this position now to really get it done. And our guys did a great job of it last year, and I'm looking forward to 2 younger guys coming in, helping us to continue that. So, I'm really excited about our group overall. It's going to be fun to coach.
Yeah, DeMarcus and Sean certainly have some guys who have been there, done that, and can lead them moving forward into this year.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what you want. You want your older guys there, because there's a lot of time in the summer where the coaches, we can't work with them. And when you have older guys that have been through it, and then they're able to take the young guys over their wings, and before we can even put our hands on them, sometimes those guys have already done a good job of leading them in the right direction.
Well, we say goodbye to Alex Gardner, but we got some guys coming in too. Coach, appreciate the time.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
I love helping people. I love the sport. I like mentoring the little kids. I go back to my high school and help out. Having the drive to get to the next level. Hold yourself accountable to be a better runner, to be a better teammate, to be a better student. My name is Alec Dominguez. Thanks to FIU and Conference USA, I am and will always be all day CUSA.
All right, now with Drew Davis, who takes over the tight ends this year. Congratulations on that, by the way. And you've got one coming in who will have to replace Farrell McKeever, who had to replace Janu. So it's been a tight end transition. We got a guy from up north who can certainly contribute this year.
Absolutely. And Ivan Thomas, he's an H-back guy. He's a versatile guy who really gives us a lot of options. He's going to cause a mismatch for defenders in the pass game, and he's also big enough and thick enough to be able to contribute in the run game as well. And two other guys, David O'Meara and Sterling Palmer, who are new additions, are going to come in and make significant contributions as well.
Yeah, incorporating the tight end, that's certainly been part of the offense the last few seasons, and it looks to be that way. Again, I know mat drills and early season workouts have gotten underway. It doesn't feel like we're that far removed from the Gasparilla Bowl, but I know the energy has been high those early morning workouts.
Absolutely, and Chad Smith, Andrew Swayze, and those guys have done a great job this winter, with all the lifting and stuff, and to be able to come out here, today was the first day of mat drills. The guys brought the intensity, they brought the juice, and it was awesome to get back out there with them, watch them work out, and get some good work in.
Yeah, Chad Smith firing the football team up fires me up, man. If you're around Chad, you're ready to go.
If you can't get fired up by Chad, there's a serious problem.
Even if it's 5:30 a.m. in the morning.
Absolutely, he don't stop.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We'll be right back.
In the classroom, we are committed. In the community, we are uplifting. In athletics, we are strong. And on our campuses, we are accepting. Dynamic, diverse, determined. This is who we want to be, on and off the field. In our everyday lives, we are all day CUSA. And together, we are Conference USA.
We talked with Coach Skrosky a little bit earlier about the success of, say, a guy like Bryce Singleton. He mentioned he was ready for that moment because he had been working with Thomas Owens day after day, and the veterans had really cemented a pretty good work ethic with those guys. You feel the younger guys now are where they need to be in terms of how hard they work, even when you guys aren't there?
Well, we still got a lot more work to do, but yes, they are heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing a great job for us in the weight room, taking care of everything in the class and doing the extra things. I really think it's that free time, what do you do with it, and are you being productive? And I see a lot of guys, telling me, hey, they're catching a lot of footballs, through the jugs. They're also getting some extra running in, and they're very excited about their opportunities and their new roles. So each year, each new year brings new opportunities, and a la Bryce Singleton, Austin Maloney, he increased his role,
Sure
and
did, yeah.
Shamar Thornton has come along, and then Darius, Jelly Scott, he's done well. So we're excited about the whole group. And then individually, there has been some guys that have made some strides.
Yeah, we're ready to see them go.
Yes.
September 1st. Can't come sooner.
That's right. I totally
Coach,
agree.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so
We'll
much.
chat soon. We'll be right back.
For 50 years, FIU has been serving a community that's seeking something different from its university. From the sawgrass of the Everglades to the boardrooms of downtown, Miami is a modern, global city built with an entrepreneurial spirit that's always looking forward. A city that moves at this speed requires a public research university to support it. And that's what we've been building at FIU since 1965. A locally engaged, globally connected university.
All right, we're with James Villano, who heads the special teams department, of course, and a terrific year for the specialist all around. Sean Young on the kickoffs, obviously Stone Wilson improved his punt average, and then Jose Borregales, as trustworthy as a redshirt freshman could be, and you got all of them coming back too.
Yeah, it's a very exciting time. Typically in the world of specialists, you're always trying to build competition, and it's harder because you don't get a scholarship every year for a specialist.
Yeah.
It's not like a quarterback or a running back. So these guys have to be able to push themselves, and so far their off season's been great, watching them really elevate their own preparation and not get too comfortable with where they are, but comfortable enough with the repetition of practice that they can get better.
Yeah. We're on social media and we see the improvement. They'll show these guys are definitely getting better every day. What did you, in terms of off-season programs and your message to them after a successful season? What is the focus as you move forward? What do you tell these guys heading into an off-season after a successful year?
Well, I think that it was a successful year, but I think they've just scratched the surface of their ability.
Yeah.
And with specialists, quarterbacks, really technical skill positions like that, you want to say reach your potential. So we try a lot of different things early, let the guys experiment with, okay, I like this drill, I don't like that, and then it's really how much are you willing to grind? How much time are you willing to put in on your craft? and we can't be involved as coaches. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, here's a game plan, give me your feedback, let me know how it went, but I can't be involved. So
Yeah.
they've done a great job, especially in the weight room with Coach Smith, really developing.
Yeah, from the specialist to whatever position it may be, it seems from talking with the coaching staff, everyone's putting in that work.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I've been a part of 5 new staffs where it's first time staff together. This is my 5th staff, and being able to see a full calendar year of growth and change, not from this whole environment and university, but the kids specifically. The work ethic's been great.
So all the specialists return, but a big freshman class coming in for FIU. The opportunity for big plays, big-time players contributing right away. We're excited to see what these freshmen have to offer. Appreciate you tuning in to today's Signing Day show. September 1st, Indiana. Can't come soon enough. Pause up. Thanks for watching.